and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have another ink comparison video, and this is Troublemaker inks comparison number 1. So I think let's go and swab up some of these inks. So the first ink I have here is Troublemaker, and it's Abalone. So we'll do an ink swatch. And you can see here that this is an interesting colour. The second pass there, just so you can see the difference between a wet and a dry nib. And this is Troublemaker. And it's Abalone, which is a little bit of a, I want to say a bluish grey coloured ink. The next ink is Troublemaker, and it is Petrichor. So we'll do an ink swatch. Now this is, I'm finding quite a dry ink. Just put a little bit more wetness on there. And we'll go over this half, just so it's a little bit more wetter. And this is Troublemaker. And it is Petrichor. The next ink is Troublemaker, and it's Copper Patina. And you'll see that copper there. So it is a shimmer ink. So I'm going to shake it. So we'll do an ink swatch. Now, this is a little bit of a dry ink, so I'm going to try and lay it on a little bit more. And so we can get some of that glitter there. So just a second pass there, and already you will be able to see if I do that, there's a lot of glitter there. So this is Troublemaker. And it's Copper Patina. The next ink I have here is Troublemaker, and it's Kelp tea. So we'll do an ink swatch. And this actually looks a very interesting colour. I haven't seen this kind of colour before in an ink. Just put a little bit more on to saturate it so we can show the difference between a wet and dry nib. So this is Troublemaker. And it's Kelp tea. Make sure, yeah, Kelp tea. But that's a very interesting colour. The next one is Troublemaker, and it's Bantayan Turquoise. So we'll do an ink swatch. And this definitely is a turquoise ink. I didn't think it was going to be that bright, actually. Or that punchy. I thought it was going to be a little bit more like the Copper Patina. So this is Troublemaker. And get this right, it's Bantayan. And it's turquoise. Just realised that's not going to fit there. And then the last one is Troublemaker, and it's Donna Victorina. So we'll do an ink swatch. And this is looking like a very thick, very viscous purple ink. We'll do a second pass just along the top edge, so we can see the difference between a wet and a dry nib. So this is Troublemaker. And it's Donna. And it's Victorina. So let's take a look at these inks now that they have dried. So the first one is Troublemaker Abalone, which is a really nice colour ink. You can see a huge difference between the wet and the dry here. The sort of writing sample looks a little bit more of a, I would say probably even the ink swatch as well is a little bit more of a blue-grey. There is some shading going around the pulled areas. Now, there isn't any sheen going on there. We have Troublemaker Petrichor, which is more of a greyish ink I'm finding here. And you can see here, it's quite a flat ink. There is shading going on though, definitely. And I want to say that there is a sheen. It's almost like a petrol colour sort of sheen going on. It doesn't stand out a huge amount, but there is some sort of discoloration sheen there. The next one is Troublemaker Copper Patina, and I have to say this is a really nice ink, and I may have to buy myself a bottle of this. I love this sort of green, sort of coppery sort of colour, sort of patinaed, but then you have this beautiful shimmer going on there. And I'm not really one for shimmer inks, but that is quite a nice ink. Or maybe I will just, I don't know, I've got some turquoisey inks, I think, so maybe I could just add some of my own copper shimmer to it, and sort of save myself buying a bottle of ink, perhaps. But I don't know, that is a really nice colour, so I might have to buy a bottle of that ink. The next one is Troublemaker Kelp Tea, and this is more of a sort of greyish or brownish grey, I would say. You can see the difference between a wet and a dry nib there. The writing sample tends to be a little bit more on the brown-grey sort of spectrum. Now, there is some shimmer. It's subtle, but you can see it there along the top here. It is sort of slightly shimmering there. Or sheening, I should say, actually, not shimmering. The next one is Troublemaker Bantayan Turquoise. Now, I don't know, is it Bantayan? I don't know. But this is a really nice turquoise ink. It's a little bit more on the dark side of a turquoise for me, I would say, but you can definitely see the difference between the wet and the dry. It almost comes out like a dark green to me, or a teal maybe. Now, there is some shading going on, and there is some sheening around here as well. And here, you'll be able to see on camera, hopefully, just a little bit of a sheen. Not a lot, but a little bit. And then the last ink is Troublemaker Donna Victorina. And this is a purple ink, and you can see a difference between the wet and the dry here. The dry is a much lighter purple. The writing sample was more of a dark purple, almost black. But you can see here, hopefully, a load of sheen on the wettest part here. So if you're going to be writing in a wet nib, you're probably going to get sheen coming out of this ink, out of your nib. So there you have it. That's my Troublemaker Inks Comparison number 1 video. If there are any inks here that you like, let me know in the comments below. And likewise, if there are any other Troublemaker inks or any other inks that you would like me to do a comparison on, then let me know in the comments below, and I will see if I can get hold of them. I'd like to thank a couple of friends. that actually sent me ink samples for these Troublemaker inks, because I haven't actually bought any myself yet. So I'd like to thank Den at Den's Custom Pens, and also Jackie from our pen club. So between the two of them, they were able to supply these inks. So thanks very much for supplying those inks, and hopefully I can get some more soon. So there you have it. That's my Troublemaker Inks Comparison number 1 video. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye bye.